Hello, this is Michael with Parsimony, and we're going to do an Empowery exclusive training session today. The topic is how to use projects and tasks to do supplier setup. So you guys have a process where you want to set up a new supplier, and you've got a checklist in there. We're going to use the power of parsimony within the Empowery website to set those tasks up as a project inside of Empowery so that you can do everything inside the system. So let's get started. We're going to start by logging in, and we'll come up here and let the page go, and I'm going to log in as myself. You will log in as yourselves. And oh, jazzy desktop background there. You can find that in your settings if you want to do it on your own. So let's go to projects, and we've got a list of projects, and we're going to start a new one, and we're going to name it for a company that we're working with. So in this case, let's name it for the example company. And it's kind of important to remember that. In fact, I'm going to take a second here and actually copy it so that I've got it exactly like that. The status of this is opened. We're not going to worry about an end date, but we are going to go ahead and edit it in full page because there's a few things that we can do here. One thing that we're going to do is we're going to set it up as a new project type, and this will be in your list when you start to do this. But I'm going to just call it Supplier Setup, and when you come back to it on your own then sometime, you'll have nothing there, and you'll be able to choose, just like I did, Supplier Setup. It's an active project. We're going to say that it's medium priority, and we will start it today. And you can come in here and add in whatever you want. You can add in some customer details about which customer is it. In this case, you may already have the customer listed. You can create a new customer. You can do whatever you want there. I'm going to also assign it to myself. Now, if you've got somebody that says, hey, I was talking to this guy, they want to do it, I'll set the project up for you. You could assign this to somebody else. But in this case, I'm going to scroll on down. I should be in here. There I am. So it's assigned to me. And then you'll see we've got no task listed, but we're not going to sweat that because we're going to be adding those in. And then you can add some notes in here about the project, but you don't have to do that. And similarly, if there was something about, costing on this, you could, but I would skip it for now. So basically, we're in pretty good shape right there. Let's go ahead and save it. And we're sort of set up there. So the next thing then is to add in the tasks. Now again, what we're taking is a predefined checklist that we want to use. So we're going to come here to task, and it's going to say make a new task, at which point we could type in every single step, but that's no fun because it's all very routine in this case. We know what we're doing. So let's go ahead and choose to import the list, the standard checklist that we've got. And I probably should have cleared these out ahead of time for you. You may see other imports in there, but none of them really matter. So we'll just go ahead and start with a new one. It's going to be tasks, and then it says attach a file for import. Well, we're not ready to do that yet. Let me show you what we're going to do. We're going to slide over here to Excel and open it up, and we need to open up a master file that I've got. And I put mine in Parsimony. You guys might have a folder on or a directory on your computer that you might call Empowery or whatever. And I called it Supplier Setup. You can name it whatever you want, but I just wanted to be able to keep all of these files that are so similar together in one place. So it's called _ I do that so that it always stays at the top when I'm showing things alphabetically. EMP for Empowery, Supplier Setup tasks, and you'll see that it's an XLSM. M stands for macro. That means we've got macros enabled on this file. But that's the one that we want. It's going to be our master. So we'll open it up, and it launches, and it gives us a quick warning to let us know that there are macros out there. That's cool. We knew that. It's all right. So we're going to click Enable Macros. And after a second, it's going to open up. So we'll come in here to start, and we're going to put in the exact name of the project, which in this case is almost always the exact name of the customer. You'll remember that we called it the example company. And I also had actually copied it. I could have just pasted it in there, but I want to make sure I get that exact to the project name. Then the next step is the start date, and I just put it to automatically go to today. Let's not waste time. Let's get together. If you need to change it for some reason, or if you know that you're doing this for somebody that's on vacation this week and you want to set it to start on Monday when they get back, you can change this date. And then I arbitrarily set it to end 14 days later. I totally made that up. You guys can do whatever you want with that, but I just said, let's get this all done in 2 weeks. All right, so once we've got it, then you can see here are the steps that we're going to go through. And they're in reverse order. It's kind of a silly thing, but when we go back to look at these tasks, it's going to show the most recently imported one. So I actually want to import task number 1 last, so that it shows up first in our list. But I've got them all numbered, and I also put numbers in front of them so that we can always sort them in the right order later on. So there's the steps, there's the project name, there's the dates. Let's click on populate, and it's just gonna, you'll see real quickly, it grabs that name and it puts it into the right place, and it makes sure that it's all correct. It grabs the right date, puts that in the right place, and it grabs the end date and it puts that in the correct place. So we visually take a look and make sure that all of that's as it is, as it should be, and it is. Step 5 is to save this file as a different file name, because we want to keep this one as a master. And we need to put it into a different format. We don't want it in the macro format. We want it in the standard SLSX format that we use all the time. So we'll come up here to File, and we'll choose Save As. I'm going to name it the example company. Again, just because that's an easy way to keep track of these things. I'm going to put it into the Supplier Setup folder that I've got so that these things are always together. And if I do it alphabetical with that underscore, my master template will always be at the top. And here's the crucial part. I got to change from that macro format to the standard SLSX format. So I do that, and I click on Save, and it gives me a quick warning. It says, if we do that, you're going to lose your macros. That's exactly what we want to have happen. We don't want the macros in the company one. We're already done using those. They've done their job. Thank you very much. So to continue saving as a macro free, that is no macro workbook, let's click on yes. We do that. Wait a second, and it's done. Let's come over here and just kind of check our work for a second. Here's our Supplier Setup folder. And there's our master, and here's the example company that we just set up. So all that's looking good. Now we can come over here, slide back over into the Empowery thing. Remember, we wanted to attach a file. Now's the right time to attach it. We're going to browse to get it. We'll find it on Supplier Setup in our folder where we left it. We want the company one, not the master template. We'll choose that one, and there it is. So we'll go ahead and upload it. And at this point, we got to pause for a second and make a couple of settings, because, kind of step by step here. That file is there and ready to go, but before we import it, we want to make sure that we are updating records that are going in. We do want to create new records, so we're going to leave that unchecked so that it will create new records. We don't want to skip rows with errors, so we'll leave that unchecked. If there's an error, we want to know about it. We want to submit after importing, and we don't want to ignore the encoding errors. Again, if there's a problem, we want to know. So it's check, blank, blank, check, blank, check. All right? So that's what we want. There's our file. There's our settings. We're all set. Now we can click on Start Import. And it's going to take a run. Looks like the progress bar is doing pretty well. And boom, we were successful. That's great. Okay, so with that, let's go back to our project list. And here's the example company. And we'll open that up. And sure enough, it's got 22 tasks. Let's see what they are. Not a big surprise. There's task number 1, 2, 3, all the way down. In this case, the default is to show, oh, it was going to show 100. That's great. Sometimes it shows 20. If you need them all, just click on 100. But there are all of the tasks all lined up. Let's break into task number 1. And you can see that it says identify the membership product or service need. And it's for this project. And actually, in this case, I was able to, at the same time we did that upload, I was able to include a little bit of text. And this is the only text that's in the master template. You can delete it. But as time goes on, as you guys have steps or if you have links of things that make this easier, I'll show you what we can do here. In this case, I had a little bit of fun. I said, do a really awesome job on this and then check the Mariners wildcard standings here. So right now the Mariners are in a wildcard race. If I mouse over, you'll see that's actually a link. And if I click on Control, I can open that link in a new window. This could just as easily go out to a Dun & Bradstreet report or to something else that you wanted to do. And it looks like the Mariners are okay. They're 5 games ahead of the Oakland A's, and they're in the wild card, so that's awesome. Let's come back here to our project. We did all that work, so actually now our status is closed. But it could be something that we are working on ourselves, and we're still got some more things that we want to do. It could be that maybe there's like a contract involved and we need somebody to review it. So we're done, but we're waiting on somebody else, so we could set it to pending review. But we're done. So let's go ahead and click on closed. And there it is. And I think at that point we're pretty much set. So let's go ahead and save that one. And if we come back to our task list, you can see that one is been opened and it's closed. We're done with it. That's pretty awesome. Let's go back to projects. And you can see for the example company, we're 4% complete, because if you have 22 steps and you do one of them, use a little bit of rounding, you end up with 4%. So there you are. That's the process. And as you guys load in new companies, you'll have the best supplier and outstanding shipping company Inc. and incredible finance deal limited or whatever. Just load in those new companies and then go to work on them and get them all to 100% complete. Thanks.